Imagine creating realistic video ads with voices, sound effects, and motion blur, but all just by typing a prompt. And so we're in 2025, if you didn't know that. This is where Google Veo 3 doesn't just make silent videos, it actually makes them come alive. So Google Veo 3 is Google's text-to-video model that includes sync dialogue, ambient noises, and sound effects, and there's no post-production needed. So in today's session, we're actually going to walk through and show you a couple examples of these Veo 3 videos, and then I'm going to show you how inside of Alphana we can actually generate customized prompts so that you can use to go generate some more videos for your business. So I'm pretty excited about this. I'm going to show you guys a couple examples and then we'll dive in. I got a couple good examples for you, but I'm just going to open it up with this scene. Like I mentioned, Google Veo 3, prompt it, and it'll not only just generate a video, it might not just generate audio, it'll generate all in one shot. But the thing is that prompting Veo 3 sometimes can get pretty complicated, okay? Especially because you don't want to waste your credits or you don't want to waste all the videos that you're generating and it doesn't come out the way that you want it. So we're going to actually test on my own account so that you don't have to go through it, and I'm going to teach you a couple tips and tricks that I've learned. So this is an example. I did not make this, but I pulled this on X of somebody trying to recreate the real version of Ratatouille. How many of you guys seen the movie Ratatouille? And so in the scene where you have him right on top of the chef, just going to click play and you're going to see this reenactment. So if you notice, you see the movement, completely realistic scene, all coming from just a prompt inside of Veo 3. All right, I got another example for you. Now here's an example of a street interview, and in the street interview, and well, I'll just let it ride. Let's see. So you could even see here, like this feels like a realistic interview on the street completely, but nothing in here was done separately. This was all done in one shot. You've got the interview, you've got them speaking, it feels real, all of this happening, right? So I've got one more for you, and this one was a pretty fun one on X as well. Let me see. I didn't zoom in on this one, but I'm going to go ahead and play this one. These are just a couple examples. So we're going to actually try to do this ourselves now, right? I want to walk this through with you. And we're going to try to generate some prompts inside of Alphana. And I'm going to show you some inspiration prompts as well. And just show you kind of a couple different creative ways of how you could actually tie generating Google Veo videos by leveraging content that you're already putting in Alphana, as well as you could just make it up from scratch, right? So let's go ahead and do that. I'm inside of Alphana right now. Now in Alphana, like you know, we could turn video into content. But we've got over 120 different pieces of content that you can generate in Alphana. What I want to do in this case is before I start generating content, I need to start with a blank project. So what I'm going to do is go ahead in the top left and I'm going to click create. And for some of you, in case you have your sidebar opened, you'll see it says create new. So this is what it looks like. Now, when you hit create, it presents you with a lot of templates and a lot of options for what type of content you want to create. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to click add YouTube or upload. And in this case, what you could do is you could grab any YouTube video if you want to grab some creative inspiration for what you want your ad or your video to be about, or you can upload your own content, right? Another tip or advice is, let's say you're trying to create an ad for your business. Just go ahead inside of your phone. Let's say you're on an iPhone, open up the voice note, the recorder, and just record a blurb for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or a couple minutes about your business and what you want the ad to be about so that it has context. And when you're done, you could actually come over here and upload it into Alphana. So you've got multiple use cases. Grab from YouTube, record a voice note, or grab your own podcast or webinar or a Zoom recording that you've done, and you can leverage that as context so that our AI has more knowledge and insights as to what to create content about. Now, in my case, to save time, I'm going to click reuse from my library because I have a ton of videos that I've already popped in. Now for this session, I thought it'd be fun. What I did was I pulled up a video all about Veo 3 prompting. And so I found, if I click on this example here, this video, and it's all about him creating high value creative ads. And I'll give him a big shout out. I have a link, I think, on to his YouTube channel. And so I'm going to leverage his video and we're going to see what that's all about. So now that I've come back in here, you'll see that I've selected this video down here in the Knowledge Center. Okay. Now, instead of selecting just any random template, I just want to get the transcript so that I can use that as context. So I'm just going to go ahead here and I'm going to click Transcript Generator. Right now that I've got the transcript, I'm going to click Next. I could personalize by selecting the tone, reading level, language. But again, keeping it basic, English, I'm targeting creators, and I'm going to click Next after personalizing these settings. In this case, since I already did this, I don't need to edit the transcript, and I'm going to go ahead and hit Generate. Perfect. So now what we're doing is we're analyzing the transcript so that we have and we can synthesize the knowledge and the insights that are coming from this video. And then from there, we'll be able to actually now generate some prompts. And I've got a couple fun prompts that we're going to leverage so we can create, so you guys can see an example. And so first off, just to give a shout out, he created this doc, and I'll show you this as well. This will be very useful for you. Okay, his name is Adrian. So I definitely recommend you can go check him out. Adrian Viral AI Marketing on YouTube. He's got a lot of great videos about different things, but he's got this one video about VO3 prompting that I thought was pretty insightful. And so I thought I'd give him a shout out here, and I could show you a little bit of what he did that I thought was pretty creative. So here's a video that he shot. Okay. Now in this video, he actually used himself to create a video for the initial hook of his YouTube video. And again, his entire video is all about VO3 and prompting. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video so you could see what that looks like and what it sounds like.
This video is going to get a little crazy.
But yo, what if you want some real earth food though? That's when you hit up Uber Eats, my guy. Pizza, burgers, sushi.
That ad that you just saw was created for only 20 cents and
So this is a great video. He shows this example prompt of how that ad was created. I have that prompt as well, and that was pulled from an inspiration on X, so definitely very fun and creative. But as you can see, right, he leveraged and put in his own image to generate the initial hook and the intro into it, then jumped right into an example ad that was made just by leveraging that, right? So now that I've got Alphana set up, we're going to actually leverage this to be able to generate some VO3 prompts. So I've got one sample prompt, and I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to show you guys an example here. So what I'm going to do is I want to add this prompt into Alphana. I'm going to click Add Card. Now inside of Add Card, I'm going to create my own, and I'm going to come here and I'm going to paste this prompt. Now I want you to stay till the end watching this video, and I'll let you know how you can get access to these prompts. All right. And I'll make sure if you're already an Alphana customer, I'm going to shoot you guys a link. You guys will have access to all this as well. But if you take a look at this, all right, let me delete this part of the prompt. And here's the instructions. All right. So here's what I'm doing, right? I want to be able to take the insights from this video to come up with an ad to generate another video on VO3. And in this case, it's like, all right, based on this video transcript or text context, you will create a one-clip ad using the JSON format below. Now, some of you probably are like, what is JSON, right? It looks like a bunch of code and very technical. It is, but you don't have to fill this out yourself, right? You could actually work with something like ChatGPT or Claude to help fill this out for you. But inside of Alphana, you don't even need to have it because we're going to actually pre-fill all of this for you so that we can generate the entire prompt. This just ensures that things like what the scene is about, the character, the type of, character like alien frog creature, the personality features, the accent. And if I keep scrolling, it's got the environment, the location, a key object that it's talking about, the action sequence, and it even specifies the dialogue, right? Like in here, and if you're hungry, check this out, right? And the gesture is like walks left and touches the machine. So these are all details that if you were to come up with it yourself, right, from scratch, it could take you forever, and you might try 10 different videos and either get rate limited or spend a ton of money before you get the outcome that you want. And so what you want to do with VO3 prompts is you really want to try to collaborate and think through with something like what we can do in Alphana, or even if you're using another AI tool to help pre-fill and come up with ideas, right? Feed it your insights, feed it your ideas of what you're looking for, but make sure it all gets filled out so that all the little details of what you want in the results, the gesture, the lighting, the mood, and what you don't want is going to make sure that it's populated. So now that I've got this right, I'm telling it in the instructions that I want it to be based on the video context or text transcript that I put in. I want the ad to be short and fun and engaging. The dialogue to be simple, right? 1 to 2 lines max. Character and environment should stay consistent within the clip, right? And then we have other details like don't put text overlays, captions, and subtitles. This is very important with Google Veo 3. and their AI model, if you don't specify it, it might add captions and overlays on it. The problem is that sometimes it doesn't look great and you can't take it out later. Number two, not only does it not look great, but sometimes it could be misspelled or it's not accurate. So it's just better to tell it, don't put captions, don't put subtitles, don't add any readable words unless you absolutely need it. That's probably better to be done post-production. Now you could test it. It all depends on what your video is about. But in this case, we want to have clean, readable output when generating VO3 prompts. And we put it in a JSON structure because the AI it's more structured. It just ensures that it has all the elements that it needs and very clear instructions, and it just leads to better outcomes. Now, on some platforms, depending on where you're going to prompt on VO3, they limit you to 1,000 characters. So we pre-built that in here to 1,000 characters. Okay. Now, so we're very specific. This is how we want the prompt. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit generate, and we're going to see the prompt that produces directly from this particular video. Once we have this, if we feel good about it, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use it now on another video so that you could see the output on 2 different clips. Meanwhile, any questions, please go ahead and drop that into the chat. All right, we got one. How can we make a 30-second commercial with multiple JSON prompts? I love it. So that's actually a second prompt that I already had pre-made that I'll show you that we're also going to be dropping inside of Alphana. And I'll show you that shortly, just right after this generates. And then there's some tricks of what you could do inside of VO3 in order to get more consistency as well by using the first frame using the last frame to use the first frame in the video, but we're going to cover that now. All right, here we are. So I've got the prompt. Let's see what it came up with. So here's the scene summary. A quirky alien introduces a glowing food generator on a futuristic spaceship. And the character is an alien. It's playful, energetic. The eyes are big glowing eyes, wide expressive grin. It's laid back, a futuristic spaceship kitchen. So it kind of details out everything. You see a sleek machine with a glowing orb. So in the video, it kind of talks about this. So it's kind of leveraging some of it's going to be similar to the one that was inside the video, mainly because that's what they were talking about, right? It heard the scene, right? But this is just kind of giving you one example. Let's go try this prompt right here. I'm going to go ahead to another project and I want to test it out. Let's say social media, okay? I had a project that I already did. These actually have a ton of short scripts, but for now, I'm just going to ignore the scripts and let's just add a card. And I'll go ahead and drop this one in there. Based on the video, you will create one clip ad using the format below. I do want to put one more instruction in here that I think I just realized is missing. Ensure the ad is about the product or service discussed in the video transcript. Now you're saying, hey, I already put that up here. We're adding the instructions because it's super important. We're just reiterating to the AI what to do. Transcript, the example below is only for a reference, right? Replace with an idea based on the video transcript or text context. Now I'll have this pre-filled so you don't have to do this again, but essentially I'm just reiterating in multiple spots, letting it know, hey, what do we want this video to be about, right? All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to click generate. All right, let's see what this looks like here. All right, you're also asking, does the prompt go with any video that we download? Yes, so you could so what I'm showing you here is like, hey, you could take any video and the prompt will automatically adapt based on the insights from the video. So if you want an ad to come out of a video that you're watching, and it could be anything like maybe it was you're talking about your new product or service that you're offering and you want to create an ad about that, right? You could leverage this. Or let's just say you found your competitor, okay? And they've got a product video or an ad about their business. You could plug that ad into Alphana, and then in here, it'll create a brand new ad based on those concepts. You would just tailor and tweak the prompt to say, hey, but make sure it's about my business, and you put ABC name of your business and what it does, so that now it mimics and tries to come up with an ad or a script that worked for your competitor, but adopted into your own style in your way about your company, your business, or your service. Let's see what we got here. Again, I know this sounds technical, but I'm going to read it out loud of what this is about. This is saying a friendly robot enthusiastically explains how creators can thrive by focusing on value and niche content. See, this is great because this is exactly what the video is about. Right? It's about how to provide value, how to ensure that you come up with a niche, right? And so let's just say here, right? Personality is cheerful, helpful, and energetic. It's a friendly robot. Let's see. The face, it's sleek, metallic surface with emotive features, upbeat, the locations in a modern creator workspace. You've got a sleek desk setup with glowing screens. Perfect. It talks about how the camera, and then here's a dialogue, right? Creators, here's the secret to winning. Niche down and add real value. And then the robot confidently taps the hologram and it shows a skyrocketing upward level growth. And then boom, see, focus content equals big growth. Start small, stay consistent. And then at the end, perfect. So this is an example of what an ad looks like for this, right? If we're talking about content. Let's just go render this video and see what that looks like. How does that sound? I'm going to go directly on VO3 and we're going to do this inside of Flow. Okay. Now Flow, hold on, I might have to share a different tab, of course, because I want you guys to hear the audio. So sometimes it makes me do that. All right, perfect. So now Google has a product called Flow. Flow allows you to create, and I'll just create a new project. It allows you to create VO3 videos. Okay. And they've got multiple versions, but this is a quick and easy way. There's a lot of other ways of to do this, but I have a subscription already. And because with the subscription, I can generate a lot more. So I'm going to use up all of my credits while we test a couple things in here, right? So right now what I'm going to do is text to video because we're just going to generate it completely from a prompt. But earlier, just to make sure, who was it that asked me how to make multiple commercials and multiple JSON prompts? We'll cover that in a second. But like right now, I'm going to use text to video because I'm going to use a prompt to be able to generate it. But once you create the first video, you might want to do frames to video because then it'll allow you to insert what the starting and end frame should be so that it ensures that it stays consistent with the video that was there before it. Okay. For now, we're going to do one ad. I'm going to go ahead and paste now this prompt that was just generated inside of Alphana. Now we could do, let me see, VO3 fast. Let's see, some audio will not be generated VO3 clips, 2 outputs per prompt. And you know, I do want to show you the quality version. So I'm going to go VO3 quality. It might take a little bit longer, but let's let that run. All right. So right now what it's doing, it's using VO3 and it's going to generate 2 videos that you can use to be able to create. So Flow and VO3 Flow is more of a software that lets you access VO3. So in Flow is like a tool. Like let's say if you were logging into Alphana and I gave you access to VO3, which small teaser, it's something we're working on. But that's the example that I could say of what that is. Does that make sense? And the way the prompts are structured, I'm going to do a little bit differently. I think you're right. I mean, definitely right. It is more complicated, but I have another way of doing it and I'll show you exactly so that just to make it much easier for everyone, because I know it can look a little complicated. So I'll do that live with you here as well. Videos rendered. So let's check this out. It created 2 videos. We were very specific about it being a robotic, enthusiastically explains how creators can thrive. So I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to go ahead and press play. Just let me know if you guys can see this and hear it.
Creators, here's the secret to winning. Niche down and add real value. See? Focused content equals big growth. Start small, stay consistent, and watch the magic happen. Creators, here's the secret to winning. Niche.
All right, so that's video number 1. Let's look at the second one.
Creators, here's the secret to winning. Niche down and add real value. See?
Focused content equals big growth.
Creators, here's the secret to winning.
All right, that was pretty funny. So what VO3 did is it gave us 2 examples of videos with the same prompt, right? Prompt number 1, voice was consistent. Prompt number 2, you saw it switch from a male voice to a female voice, all in the one robot speaking, right? Not ideal, but again, it's good why we got 2 examples. And if you wanted to, you can go ahead and export that. So that's one. What I want to do is we're going to kind of change the prompt a bit. Let's clean up the prompt with everyone here. All right, so I'm going to clean up the prompt. I'm just going to come here and I'm going to say, help me clean up the prompt and remove the JSON formatting. Make it super easy to see the instructions in bullet points instead. Also, the final output should not be in JSON. We want one clean and easy to digest prompt. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and paste that. So I'm going to clean up the code. This is what you could do too. I'm just kind of showing you if you ever come across this, because there's a lot of great prompts out there that might look like this. Just put it into something like ChatGPT, ask it to help clean it up for you. I'm going to say, but make sure not to remove any important instructions. Okay. And that's it. I'm going to go ahead, use GPT-5 for this, hit send, and it should be able to do that for me pretty quickly. That way now I could take this prompt and we'll populate it inside of Alphana. Let's see. While that's loading, you've been multitasking. You addressed the following, please forgive me, but can you also combine with original footage that I upload? Yes, you can combine original footage. I'll try to do that too so we could see what that looks like. You know, we just got to rely on OpenAI right now. Seems to be going a little slow at generating prompts, but we'll just be a second. But yeah, so what's cool with VO3, you could, number one, you put together a prompt to explain the dialogue, the scene, whatever it is, right? But if you have an image of an environment or of what you want the first frame to look like, right? So let's say you iterate and you go back and forth and you generate some AI images, or you've got a photo or anything like that. And you're like, this is exactly what I want the scene and I want the starting point to be in the video. You'll take that and upload it into VO3. That'll be your starting image. So now when it generates a video or an ad, that'll be the first scene. And then your prompt will instruct it for what to do in that scene. And what's cool is, again, it could be a still image of yourself and it'll turn you into a talking video. Now, it won't be in your voice, at least not through VO3. We'd have to do some hacks and work with 2 or 3 tools in order to put it in your own voice. But if you're trying to leverage just somebody else's voice or come up with something fun and engaging, you could totally do that. So here we go. Now I've got the prompt. It's the same prompt that I had before, except now cleaned up. There's no JSON. But there is something important here. It took out all the labels. It's important that all the labels are there to be clear on what each piece is, what's dialogue, etc. Also, don't shorten any of the prompts or items from the sample. Okay. What I noticed is that it just took out too much, and I just want to make sure it's not doing that. So let me have it refine it, and then I'll put that into Alphana so you can see what that looks like. There we go. You see it's a little bit longer, but now it's a little bit easier for you to understand. So this is completely non-technical. I think this is mostly now in a state of like, here, when I write a prompt, here's the template that I want it to be, right? There's a couple key elements that you want to have when you're generating VO3 prompts. You want to have a scene summary to describe that. The character, you describe the type, the personality, the features, the eyes, the mouth, all these different elements. Even the accent is important. The next thing you want to include in there is the environment, right? So the location, what key objects do you see inside of the location? All of these things are important so that it understands. And then the action sequence, okay? Like what's happening, right? The camera, what is the result of what happens after that? Is there a gesture that's happening, okay? And not only that, but you're going to include not only gestures, but also the dialogue. And you want to be clear, right? You want to put in there like what is going to be spoken, because you want to make sure that you like what's going to happen before you generate that video. And then you could look at visuals, right? Is there a certain way you want the lighting, the style, the technique, okay? And then in the final output, you've got render settings. And what I like to do is include what not to include, right? So list out everything to exclude in the video. Examples could be like exclude overlays, captions, subtitles, text, letters, logos, watermarks. These are all things that I don't want in the video. So make sure you kind of list out anything that you don't want to be in there. And this gives you a beautiful starting point so that you can get a better result when generating VO3 videos. Okay. Now, the great thing is that you can have AI help you to fill this in and you don't have to come up with it, right? Because that's what we're going to use inside of Alphana so that we can go into Alphana and use that to be able to pre-fill it for you. So I'm going to switch tabs. I'm going to open up another tab. All right. Now I'm inside of Alphana. So I'm going to go ahead and click add card and click create. And I'm going to insert now this new prompt. Okay. Now in this prompt, I have it in here based on this video transcript or text content. You will create a 1-clip ad, instructions, boom. I've got all the details. Now I'm going to click generate. I'm using something from Superhuman. So this is Superhuman's launch video.
Person you know. That one person who is always focused on what matters, who never drops the ball, who is proactive, not reactive, and who somehow finds the time to live a whole and fulfilling life.
So they have a 7.5 minute, almost 8 minute product launch video where they're, again, relaunching something in Superhuman, talking about all the AI features, who it helps and everything, right? Very valuable video. It has a ton of insight. And now what we're going to do is we're going to try to create a VO3 ad based on this, right? So we could see what it came up with, but we might want to help the AI to come up with something different. So Let's see what it says. It's describing the summary and it's saying, all right, a cheerful animated AI assistant floats around a clutter-free digital inbox, effortlessly sorting and managing emails, right? So it's got an animated assistant. It's friendly, approachable. Let's see. It's got a visually organized inbox with tabs. The camera zooms in on the AI assistant as it gestures to the inbox. Say goodbye to email chaos. Now, this is animated and it's using smooth 3D rendering. Kind of don't want smooth 3D rendering in this case. And this might be for your case, right? Maybe you want it to be more realistic, a realistic scene. So I'm going to go to create your own. And I'm going to say, and then in the instructions, make sure the ad is in a cinematic, realistic setting. Do not make it animated or 3D rendered. Use real people. So I'm just making up an example so that it's very clear of what I want. And now I'm going to click generate. All right. So this is generating. Now what's different about what you're seeing here is that it is not just generating a random prompt. Analyzing the video transcript. It's understanding what this video is about before it generates the video. All right. So here it is. Let's go ahead. I'm going to make this prompt. Copy it, and let's just go back now to Veo 3 so I could show you exactly what that looks like. All right, we saw this. Let's new video. And I'm going to paste the prompt now. There's going to be a busy professional in a sleek modern office is juggling multiple tasks, emails, phone calls, and meetings. When their computer pings, they pause and they're intrigued. Beautiful. That's the scene, and we're going to see what that looks like. Now, I want to create another one while that's generating. We'll just give that a minute while it's making, and then I'll show you what that looks like. So they have a faster model. Quality obviously is not going to be 100%, but it's always worth to try. I have another prompt that it's an ad to make for Alphana. We're just going to have fun with it and see how this one comes out. So I'll go ahead and hit generate. Beautiful. And then we'll see what that one looks like so we can get a couple making inside of here. And then there's another one that I thought was pretty fun. This one was it's about an IKEA ad, right? And so I'm gonna pull that up because this one was pretty viral online, and so I want to see if we could recreate it. All right, so we've got those creating. I'm gonna go ahead and do one more as we watch this. Yeah, I'll do Veo 3 fast, right? We could just kind of test the concept, and then I'm gonna go ahead and hit generate. Now, if you see this one is about IKEA empty room assembly. This one that we're making right now, it's going to create an ad about Alphana. So we got one about Alphana, we got one about IKEA, and then the one that we just did about superhuman in a realistic setting. I'm going to go ahead and show you this one. Let me preview larger. No. Let's see if I zoom in. Yeah, that doesn't work. All right, and here we go.
Wait, it just did that for me? This changes everything. Wait, it just did that for me? This changes everything.
So you can imagine this could be a one part of a multi-step ad, right? So here's the second one.
Wait, it just did that for me? This changes everything.
So it needs more context, right? But now what I could do is I can come over here and I could say add to scene, right? Or let's see if these finish, and then we'll do it to one of these. Here's an ad for Alphana, and then we'll experiment with them.
Alphana turns your videos into all this in seconds. Alphana turns your...
What do you think? This is actually Veo 3. That's pretty cool. Let's see this one. Very cool. All right. So you guys can imagine, right? There's so much more obviously we could do if we keep refining it. Here is the IKEA example. Okay. Let's see what this one looks like. That's pretty cool, right? You got the box that explodes and morphs into the room, right? What do you guys think of that one? Here, let me play this one too. Even better. It's cool, no? So that's showing you different prompts. I'm going to store some of these prompts inside of Alphana so you guys can have it if you want to create your own version. And what you would do is you would tweak it like, hey, instead of for Alphana, make it about topic name, right? You could do that as well, or say, hey, instead of about Alphana, make it about the topics inside of the video transcript, right? That way now when you generate this content, you'll be able to create your own version of it. And let's say if I wanted to add to scene, I can click here, and this will allow me now to create the second scene of the sequence. So I could, let's see, I'm going to click the plus sign, and I'm going to say extend, continue the ad by zooming into, actually I don't even know what to say, but because this video is bad with view of repurposing your content. All right, so we're just going to try this and see how this feature isn't supporting VO3 fast. Switch to VO2. Oh, it doesn't do it with audio? Let's see if it'll work. Gotcha. Okay, so it's not going to work with VO. That's why. So you could do it, but you'd have to use VO2 in order to extend, but it won't have audio. Quick questions from the chat, right? Is there a re-recording? Yes, we do have a recording of this. Usually by Friday or Monday, the latest, we put it out. We'll send out an email to everyone and also drop a link inside of the community. How well is the text in the video on screenshots like a mobile phone? They're not perfect. It's hit or miss. And so, you could try it if you really want to. You might have to do the video like 5 times until you can get the text inside of there to be perfect. This is mostly for you're generating the video with VO3. Now, if the first frame has a text in the screenshot and you make that the first frame when generating the video, it might get that right. But if you need that screenshot throughout the video, it's probably not going to be perfect. Like if I look here, I don't think we could see any text. Yeah, so it's
Wait,
pretty
it
good
just
that you
did
don't
that
see
for me?
much. And I don't think this one did either. Let's see.
Wait, it just did that for me?
So you can see the UI in there, right? But you can't really read the text. Even here, like you can see there's some text in there, but I've seen it
Creators,
misspelled.
here's the secret to...
So you saw there, right? Growth. So it does have the word growth. So yeah, that's a little bit about how screenshots would look like on phones. It won't get it all right, but sometimes it can experiment with it. All right, are we with the pro version able to edit the videos? In here, it allows you to set up the multi-scenes, and I think it might allow you to, I'm not sure actually. I haven't tried it in here yet. Yeah, so I think you can extend the scenes. It's just for whatever reason, it's not worked for me today. But you can also come in here and do frames to video. So I can upload a source image and if I want the video to be created based on that. So you could do something like that. Maybe, I don't know if I have anything on my computer. Let me see if I have something that we could use as a source image. All right, I got one. I've got this alien that I was testing earlier. So maybe what I could do is just grab that. Let's upload. I'm going to say, hey, this is the start of the scene that I want. I'm going to go ahead and just crop and save. So that's what I want it to start. I'm going to say, make a video where the alien frog, I don't know, what should we make him talk about? Let's see, frog talks about how to turn a video into 30 pieces of content. So we're just going to make it up. I'm not going to, let's see, we have VO2 fast. I need VO3 and then I'll hit generate. Where are we? All right. So now what it's doing is going to leverage the image as the first frame. So we didn't provide it all the extra context. So like, for example, I didn't give it a script. I didn't tell it the scene details of what else to do. It should use the scene that I gave it. But again, it might not be perfect because there might be elements in the video that I wanted to tweak. Like for example, once you guys see the prompt for this, you're going to see how specific it was in order to generate this output. Look at that. So, if I go and I read the prompt, right, we're literally talking about it. We want it to be cinematic, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9 aspect ratio. It's a empty, large, sunlit Scandinavian room with white walls and light wood floors. The camera setup is a single fixed wide angle shot. The camera does not move for the entire 8-second duration. So you can see it kind of talks about it and it breaks out all the elements, the bedside table, the lamps, the potted plants of how to do it. And then the action is like in the center of the otherwise empty room, a sealed IKEA box sits on the floor and begins to tremble gently, right? And then it's like low, subtle rumbling sound, the echo of large empty room. And then you've got generated content. Oops, you see, I am reading the wrong one. Here it is. A sharp pop sound followed by a tearing cardboard from the wide perspective. So you could see like it really explains what to do. And that's how we got this particular output. Again, this was a video that was going viral and we took the prompt so that we can recreate it and show you how that worked in real life on a demo. Okay. Now let's look at the last one. This was the example I did where I inputted a video and all I said was, hey, make the video talk about how to turn a video into 30 pieces of content. So let's see what it did.
Ribbit, ribbit.
Here's how to turn one video into 30+ pieces of content for your tadpole audience. Ribbit, ribbit.
So you see, you could see why instructions are so important. It's actually cool. It's a cool hook. So if I needed 4 clips, this could be my hook, right? Put him as my hook, and maybe we use that for one of our Alphana videos, and then you can have it continue. But in my head, I was like, I want you to actually show how to turn it into multiple pieces of content. It didn't show, it just said, here's how to do it, right? So all that could be done by prompting, which is why we structure these prompts in a certain way. And let's look at this one.
I will turn your one amazing video into 30+ pieces of content.
So that's VO3. You could have it do literally almost anything. I know some of these are animated, but photorealistic cinematic scenes, it does not need to be animated, but you could have some fun stuff like, you know, some characters in space that look photorealistic and, you know, have talking fish. You could do anything that's going to help to be able to drive traction, right? And what's great is that you could take these prompts like I was showing you earlier and do that directly inside of Alphana. All right. So more questions. I want to see if anybody's got questions in the chat. Let's see. What about using original video? So I don't know if maybe you want to give me some clarity of what you mean by original video, but from if I interpret it more, you're asking like, hey, can I input a source video and from that source video generate a new one? If that's what you're asking, you can't input the video, but you can grab the last frame from the video, right? So let's say you have a video and it's got 8 seconds and you want it to continue off that video. You would then take a screenshot of that frame, upload it as your initial frame, and then you could generate a video based on it. Okay. Or if you wanted to end on a certain frame because you know what's going to happen, you could do that as well, right? Take a screenshot or make the image and upload it. Now for the prompts. Okay. Now I showed you the creator, I showed you the video. Here's what we're going to do with the prompts. I'm going to add these prompts inside of Alphana and we're going to publish them. So after today, you will have access to be able to use it if you are inside of Alphana. And we'll also make sure that when we send out the replay, so make sure you're signed up to Alphana, whoever's seeing this, we're going to shoot out an email and you'll get access to the prompts that you see in Alphana. You'll be able to get access to links and sources to some of the video examples that I showed you. And I'll even share a link to that creator, the video that they had, because he's got a bunch of prompts as well. I want to enable you with the tools and the ideas to just come up with new content, generate some ads, and have some fun with it. So definitely great question. So that's why I'll make sure I send that to you. Just pay attention. You'll be able to get that inside of Alphana. We'll send out a link and you'll get access to all the prompts and everything. So thanks for bringing that up again. Again, if you've got more questions, drop it in, but I know we're off on time. Footage that I have taken with a 4K camera. Can you give us an example of this? I think that's the same that I was mentioning earlier. You can't take the footage of the camera just to make the video unless you just take a screenshot of a frame from that video and then have VO3 to continue what that video would look like, right? But you cannot upload the full video to recreate and use that footage to automatically generate multiple scenes. Yeah, it's a great question. I think we all want it. It's going to happen, right? One day. It's just taking a little bit of time. If you're on YouTube right now, please hit like, drop a comment. The algorithm loves that. It helps us out. We want this to spread to more people, so I could totally use your help. And when we send out the replay and you're watching this, replaying and watching on YouTube, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, right? Enable notifications so you know every single time that we put out a video. And again, drop a comment. Tell us what you think. Tell us if you loved it. Even if you hate it, that's totally fine. Or if you make a video, just drop a comment on the YouTube video and send me a link to it. I'll check it out and I promise I will respond. All right, as long as Alphana can create different scenes, then this will be awesome. Like 5 to 8 second scenes that tell a story for the brand. I didn't get to show you that, but in the prompts, at least for now, you're going to see that. It'll create like a 3 to 5 sequence, 3 to 5 scenes that you can use. So you can prompt individually to create the multiple videos. And then, yeah, we're working on even more creative ways for you. So that's today's Insider Live. Thank you so much, everyone who joined. Again, hit like, drop a comment. If you need anything at all, you can reach out to me directly. I'm Sebastian Mourra, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Alphana. And I love you all. Thank you again. All right. Enjoy the rest of your week.